everyone. So I am Mr. Pei, okay, your Form 4 Science teacher. Okay, so before we start our class today, okay, I have to let you know, okay, so for Form 4 syllabus KSSM, okay, so for Form 4 KSSM, okay, so you have to know, okay, so how many chapters you are going to learn, okay. So total you have actually 12, okay, so 12 chapters, okay, you have to learn, okay. So today we are going to our chapter 1, okay, so chapter 1 is quite easy, okay, compared to other chapters, okay, so because some of the knowledge you have already learned at PT3, okay. Okay, so our chapter today is about safety measures in laboratory, okay. Okay, so total we have 3 subtopics, okay, today. So our first subtopic is related to personal protective equipment, okay. So let us start. So what is the personal protective equipment? Okay, so here you can see the sentence here, okay. So the equipment is needed to give the protection to its user from risk of injury and hazard. Okay, so that means the personal protective equipment is the equipment that able to protect you, okay, from get injuries or hazard. Okay, hazard means dangerous. Okay. Okay, so what is the personal protection equipment on a student's, okay, and their function? Okay, so what you have to actually wear, okay, during your experiment at laboratory, okay. So look at here, you can know that, okay, so we have 5 important equipment, okay, you need to wear, okay, for a certain experiment. Okay, so here we have the goggle, the second we have the mask, third we have the glove, lab coat, and the last one is the closed shoes. So what is the function for goggle? Okay, is to protect your eyes from chemical splash. Okay, and the second face mask is to protect your nose, your mouth, okay, from inhaling any chemical, okay, or dust. And the third one is to protect hands. So the glove is protect your hand from toxic chemical substances. And the fourth, which is the lab coat, is to protect your body and the clothes from dirt and chemical. The last one is closed shoes, is protect your feet from chemical spills or glass pieces. Okay, so this is a total 5 personal protective equipment on student and their respective function. Okay. Okay, so the next will be the protection equipment in the laboratory. Okay, so here we discuss about the equipment. So total there is so there are 3, okay, important equipment you have to know, okay, at the laboratory. So the first will be laminar flow cabinet. Okay, so what is the function for laminar flow cabinet? Okay, is to prevent contamination from biological sample while conducting microbiological activities. Okay, so you can see, okay, air is drawn through the HEPA filter. So where is the HEPA filter? So from the figure you can see the bottom figure is actually the whole figure, okay, for our laminar flow cabinet. Okay, so here we have the 3 different air. So the blue color air is the air at the laboratory. Okay, and then we have the contaminated air. So the contaminated air, that means this is air actually is dangerous for our body. Okay, so we need to filter, okay, to ensure that the air around us is clean, okay, and safe to breathe. So you can see here actually we have the HEPA filter at the upper part and also the lower part. Okay, so here is the lower part. So the contaminated air, okay, will be flow in the HEPA filter. Okay, so here is the HEPA filter. So and then the air will be filtered and the clean and safe the air will be flow out as the green color flowing. You can see at the figure here. Okay, so this is the first laminar flow cabinet and its function. Okay, so the second is the film chamber. Okay, so the film chamber used to carry out experiment that use substances which are volatile. Okay, the substance that easy to become a vapor. Okay, flammable, easy to burn. Poisons, which is toxic. Okay, corrosive and pungent. Okay, so this is chemicals which is actually dangerous to our body. Okay, so we must be very careful when handling this type of the chemicals. Okay, so used to control the exposure of chemical while conducting the experiment. So that means you see, the film chamber mainly is used to control the exposure of the chemical. Okay, so which is the chemical as mentioned is maybe is volatile, flammable, poisons and others. Okay, so how we can control the exposure? Okay, by using the film chamber. Okay, so here we have two figures. So you can see here mentioned less effective control because the slide door is not pulled down. Okay, so you can see the green color air is actually the dangerous substance. Okay, come out from your experiment. Okay, so you should okay close the door properly. Okay, only your hand is able to go in. Okay, and other part of our body is actually prevented, okay, from the exposure to the chemicals. Okay, so you can see the green color air will be flow to the upper part. Okay, and not directly exposure to the person. Okay, so that means we are safe by the film chamber if we handle in proper way. Okay, so the right figure here is actually the proper method to handle or when you're using the film chamber. Okay, so the next there is the safety shower. Okay, so the safety shower is here. Okay, used to immediately clean and rinse parts of the body or protein that have come into contact with chemical substances. That means that when you're doing your experiment, accidentally the chemical spill, okay, on your body or your clothes, okay, you have to wash under the safety shower. Okay, just like the shower at your home. Okay, so we have to wash away the chemicals on your body. Okay, because the chemical maybe is a corrosive material. Okay, and the other one is the washer eye wash station. So the eye wash station here, so when we enlarge will become like this. Okay, so used to immediately rinse and wash the eyes that has come into contact with chemical substances. So that means if your eyes is already splashed by the chemicals, okay, you have to wash your eyes at this station. Okay, so we call that is eye wash station. Okay, so this is equipment. Okay, you should know in this chapter. Okay, so we have already finished our subtopic 1.1. Okay, so let us do together for the formative practice. This formative practice you can get it at your textbook. Okay, so give 3 examples of personal protective equipment that must be worn in the laboratory. Okay, so just now I have already mentioned that we have total 5 personal protective equipment. Okay, you have to wear during your experiment. Okay, so anybody can give me the example for the protective equipment. Okay, so here you can see we have actually 5, right? So the first you can give the goggle, second face mask, glove, okay, cover shoes, and one more is leg coat actually. Okay, you can choose any 3 answer from here. Okay, so the next, Harry's eyes was accidentally splashed with dilute sulfuric acid. Okay, what action does Harry's need to take? Okay, so what is the action? Okay, need to take by Harry's if his eyes is already splashed by the acid. So here,
Ice station.
sorry.
Ice wash station.
Okay, yes, okay, so can be washed away the acid at the eye wash station. Okay, well done. Okay, Sharon. Okay, so here you can see rinse his eyes with plenty of water. So as mentioned by Sharon, okay, so we can wash away the acid, okay, by using the water at the eye wash station. Okay, well done. Okay, rinse his eye with pretty water at eye wash station, and you have to report to your teacher. Okay, so this is the discussion for these 2 questions. So the next question, okay, so take the right action. So which is the right action? So this Amative wear goggles when mixing acid and water. Is it the correct action?
Correct.
Yes, good. Okay, so for the next, Ali wears slipper while carry out an experiment. Is it correct way?
False.
Yes, false, should be wearing closed shoes. Okay, so the C. Okay, so C is Mira. Okay, clean the spilled chemical on the laboratory. Okay, laboratory table using her hands. Is it correct?
False.
Wrong, yes. So should using the material. Oh, here we have to wear glove. Okay, we have to wear glove to handle the chemicals. Okay, so we have to wear glove. So the answer here should be wear glove. Or you can actually using the absorber material, okay, to absorb the chemical, okay, together with wear of the glove. Okay, so next, okay, this is our second subtopic for today's lesson. Okay, it's the disposable or waste. Okay, so here the waste can be divided into 2 groups. Okay, one is can be disposed into the sink, and another one is cannot dispose into the sink. Okay, so at this part you have to know how to differentiate, okay, the chemical which is able, okay, is straight away you can actually throw at your sink, and another one is cannot. Okay, so let's see what is the waste that can be disposed in the sink. Okay, so here is non-hazard chemicals. So non-hazard referring to non-dangerous chemicals. Okay, and low concentration. Okay, so that means this is a dilute chemical. Okay, weak acid with the pH value of 5 and 6, and weak alkaline with the pH value of 8. Okay, so as you have learned in your history, we know that the pH value 7 referring to neutral condition, such as we have the water, okay, which is in the neutral condition. Okay, so when the pH value greater than 7, such as 8, it will become alkaline. So the weak alkaline will be here. Okay, so when the numbers of pH increasing, okay, so the strength of the alkaline will be increased. For example, here 14 will be the very strong alkaline. It may cause very serious corrosive on your skin. Okay, if the chemical is splashed on your body. Okay, while when the pH value is less than 7, okay, example we have 6 and 5 here. So these 2 pH value considered as a weak acid. Okay, as numbers of pH value decrease, so the strength, okay, of the acid will be increased. Example here, we have the sulfuric acid, okay, which is very corrosive. Okay, so these 4 chemicals, okay, is able to straight away dispose in the sink. Okay, so now let us discuss the waste that cannot be disposed in the sink. So here we have total 10 chemicals, okay, which cannot straight away dispose into the sink. Okay, so we have the first solid waste. Okay, for example, here we have the paper waste, wood powder, glass, and crystal. So the solid waste might be blocked, okay, the sink. Okay, so you cannot throw the solid waste straight away to the sink. Okay, the second, the chemical waste here. Example, we have the acid, grease, oil paint, hydrogen peroxide. So the chemical waste here is actually toxic. Okay, so it's also cannot straight away dispose into the sink. And the next will be the concentrated acid and alkaline, which the pH value for acid is less than 5, and the pH value for alkaline is better than 9. So example here we have the hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, potassium hydroxide. So this is a very strong acid and alkaline, which have a very strong corrosive effect to aquatic animals. Okay, if we straight away dispose to the sink. Okay, so the next we have the organic solvent compound. Here we have the alcohol, acetone, ether, and chloroform. So this is also considered as a toxic chemicals, which will be pollute our water. Okay, if let's say we straight away dispose into the sink. Okay, so the next here we have the radioactive waste. Okay, so radioactive waste here we have uranium, radium, plutonium, and thorium. Okay, so the radioactive waste will give the radioactive effect to surrounding. Okay, so for example, maybe we have the mutation of our cell. Okay, so which may lead to the cancer in future. Okay, so it will be bring up the bad effect to the resident where the radioactive waste is just thrown without any proper procedure. Okay, so the next here we have the volatile substances. Okay, as mentioned, the volatile means that the chemical will be vaporized easily. Okay, so it will be dangerous if we inhale this type of the chemicals to our body. Okay, so here we have the gasoline, methanol, dry ice, and mercury. Okay, so this is an example for the volatile substances. And next will be the toxic substance. Okay, so the toxic substances, that means that the person or the aquatic animals will be poisoned. Okay, if we straight away throw the waste into the sink. Okay, so the example here we have pesticide, formaldehyde, arsenic, and ammonia. Okay, the next here we have the heavy metal. So here we have the mercury, cadmium, chromium, and the platinum. Okay, so here is also the same, is toxic. Okay, and we have the next number 9 waste which is cannot be disposed into the sink. There is reactive waste. Okay, here we have the lithium, potassium, sodium, and phosphorus. And the last is the organic waste. Example here we have the microbeads and carcasses. Okay, so the carcasses maybe carcasses of the rats or whatnot. Okay, so after the experiment we cannot straight away throw our carcasses of the animals we are doing to the sink. Okay, so how we managing the biological waste substances? Okay, so here the biological waste are substances that contains biological agents that may potentially cause harm to human life, flora and fauna, as well as the environment. Okay, so this is the definition for the biological waste. Okay, so that means the keywords here is the contents of biological agent which may harm to the human, flora and fauna, and also the environment. Okay, so the biological waste are waste from living things. So the disposal of biological waste in the laboratory is managed using the standard operational procedure. Short form we call that as SOP. Okay, so we have our SOP to handling our biological waste. Okay, Okay, so here we have the many example, okay, for the disposal of the waste, okay. So here we have the 4 category, okay, of the waste, okay. So the waste for category A is waste which is sharp equipment, and the category B is waste from the non-sharp solid, and the category C we have the carcasses and organ, and the category D we have the body liquid, okay, such as the blood, okay. So that means that according to just now I mentioned that we need to have the proper SOP to handling our biological waste. So that means that here we have already classified the waste into the 4 categories A, B, C, and D. Okay. Okay, so now we go to the detail for each category. So let us see the category A. So as mentioned, the category A is waste from the sharp equipment. Okay, so the example here we have the syringe, needle, scraper blade. Okay, so this is all the example of the instrument, okay, which will be used during the surgery. Okay, so how we need to handle this type of the sharp equipment after we complete our experiment or certain activities. So here the first, place in the special container. Okay, you can look at this bin. Okay, we call that as a medical sharp waste bin. Okay, so we have the words label with sharp. Okay, so we need to place the sharp equipment into the bin labeled with sharp. And here we not need to have the autoclave. So what is the autoclave? Later on we will discuss what is the autoclave. So that means we not need to autoclave for the waste category category A. Okay, so the container is stored in a safe place before disposal. Okay, so this is the way how we manage the biological waste in category A. Okay, so the next will be the category B. So the category B is the waste under the non-sharp solid. Okay, so what is the example here? Here we have the glove, we have the tissue, we have the culture medium. Okay, so the figure here is an example of the culture medium. Okay, so for this side of the waste, what you have to do, okay, in your SOP. So here we can see that the first step, package and place in biohazard plastic bag. Okay, so here you can see here we have the biohazard plastic bag. Okay, and then we need to autoclave. So what is the autoclave? So the autoclave, that means we need to heat up the waste. That means we need to kill the microorganism, the possible of the microorganism which is staying on the non-sharp solid surface during the surgery or experiment. Okay, so the autoclave method, we need to heat at the temperature of 121 degrees Celsius with the pressure of 15 psi. The psi is the unit for the pressure. Okay, for about 20 minutes. So this is you can look at this figure. So this is the instrument, okay, we use to conducting the autoclave. Okay, so after we do the autoclave, then we need to place into the biohazard bin. So the bag mentioned here is, you can see the label here is actually mentioned the mention the words of autoclave bag already. So that means the bag is possible, okay, to use for autoclave. Okay. Okay, so the next will be the waste in category C. Okay, so the category C will be carcasses, okay, and organs. So here we have the figure of rats, frog, fish, right? Okay, so that means the animals will be dead, okay, after the experiment, okay, or others science activity. Okay, so we cannot just throw away into the sink as mentioned just now. Okay, so what you have to do for the waste in category C, okay, which the example here is the lab animals, experimental animals. So the first step, you have to wet in absorbent material, okay, such as the tissue paper, okay, and then the second, will be packed well in a biohazard plastic bag and frozen before disposal. Okay, so this is the thing, okay, the step, the SOP you have to do, okay, when you managing the waste in category C. Okay. Okay, so for the category D, okay, we have the waste of body liquid. So the example here, we have the blood and serum. Okay, so look at the figure here, the blood will be here. Okay, so and we have the serum. So how we can managing this side of the waste? Firstly, decontaminated by autoclave. So again, we need to autoclave the waste. Okay, as mentioned, we need to heat up at the temperature of 121 with the pressure of 15 psi, and the duration is about 20 minutes. Okay, okay. So the disposal of the after the autoclave, you are able to dispose directly into the sewage system through the sink or toilet. So that means that the blood or serum, okay, after you autoclave, you can straight away, okay, dispose at the sink or the toilet. Okay, so this is the discussion for the 4 biological waste, okay, and is SOP. Okay, so the next will be the step to handle accidents in laboratory. So accident can happen in laboratory due to careless, unexpected circumstance, lack of skill, knowledge, okay, when we doing or conducting our experiment. Okay, so here is some of the common accidents which may occur, okay, at the laboratory. So the first will be cut by the glass fragment, chemical burns by strong acids or alkaline, small fire, explosion from reactive metal, broken thermometer, gas leak or chemical leak, electrocution. So this is the example. The common accident may occur at the laboratory, okay, during your experiment. Okay, so here we have to discuss what is the step you need to handle when we have the chemical spill, and one more is the mercury spill. Okay, so the first, let us discuss first the step you have to know when the chemical spill occur during your experiment. So the first, inform your teacher or lab assistant. Okay, this is the first step you have to do. Second, declare the spill area. Okay, you can look at the figure. So declare the spill area as a restricted zone. Okay, so nobody can move in this area anymore. And then the next step, okay, third step will be prevent the chemical spill from spreading using an absorbent paper, absorbent powder or sand. So that means you need to put the absorbent material onto the chemical spill area, okay, so that the chemical will be absorbed by the absorbent material and not spreading to a wider area. And then the step number 4 will be scoop up the chemical spill using appropriate equipment, just like the figure here. And then the last will be dispose it safely. Okay, so this is the 5 steps you have to understand, to know, okay, when you're handling the general chemical spill. Okay, and the next will be the step to handle mercury spill. Okay, so the mercury spill will be more dangerous and complicated, okay, compared to the spill of the chemical. Okay, so here is a step, okay, you have to know, okay, when you are facing the mercury spill. Okay, so inform your teacher or lab assistant. Okay, this is the first step, same as the chemical spill, and the next will be declare the spill area as restricted zone. So that means these 2 steps is also same as the step when you handle the chemical spill. Okay, so you can look at the figure where you're handling the thermometer and accidentally broken. Okay, so you can see there is the liquid of the mercury, okay, straight out from the thermometer. Okay, so you have to circle or declare the spill area, okay, so that nobody can move to this area. Okay, so normally if some of the students, okay, cause the broken thermometer and the mercury split, so normally teacher or lab assistant, you ask you all straight away to move from the laboratory, okay? Because the mercury is volatile chemicals, okay? So you will get mercury poison if you inhale in a certain quantity. Okay, later on we discuss what is the dangerous when you touching the mercury. Okay, so the third step, okay, is to sprinkle sulfur to cover the mercury spill. Okay, so you can see, so the sulfur is a substance in yellow powder form. Okay, so you have to sprinkle above the mercury spill, and then have to call the fire department if the mercury spill is very serious. Okay, so you can see this is a very dangerous step, and you have to take note, okay, during the mercury spill. Okay, so do you know about the danger of mercury? Okay, so firstly, okay, if the broken glass of the thermometer happens, okay, it may cause cut, okay, if you not handle properly. So this is the first, okay, may cause the cut, okay, if you not handle properly. The second is the mercury is toxic, okay. So mercury poisoning occur when one accidentally inhale the vapor. So as mentioned just now, okay, so the mercury is volatile chemicals, okay, which will be easily vaporized, okay. So, and you may happen, okay, the mercury poisoning if you accidentally inhale the vapor, okay, or here touch and absorb it, okay, to the skin, okay. This is another way around. You are also possible to get the mercury poisoning, okay, by inhale or directly touch the mercury. Okay, so the mercury poisoning can cause what serious effect. The first will be sight impaired. Second will be decline in speech and hearing, okay, as you can see at the picture, okay. And the next will be muscle become weak, affect the nervous system, digestive tract, and kidneys. Okay, okay, so we have already complete, okay, our subtopic, okay, 1.2. Okay, so let us discuss together, okay, the formative practice 1.2. Okay, okay, so Asri want to dispose of concentrated hydrochloric acid with pH value 3 into sink, but he stopped by Selvi. His Selvi action is correct. Anybody can discuss with me? Is the Selvi action is correct? He stopped the Asri who want to throw, okay, the chemical with pH value of 3. Is it correct way for Selvi to stop him?
Yes.
Yes, good. Okay, so thank you. Okay, again, Sharon. Okay, so this is the correct way. Okay, yes. Why? So first mark for the yes. Okay, second mark why? So because the concentrated hydrochloric acid with pH value 3 is danger because it is considered as a strong acid. Okay, because as mentioned, we can dispose straight away the weak acid with the pH value of 5 or 6. Okay, okay. So the second, pick the substances that can be disposed of into a sink. So the first, distilled water, is it possible we straight away dispose into the sink? Is it correct? For the distilled water, we straight away dispose to the sink. Anybody can answer me?
No.
Distilled water can dispose straight away to sink. So that means the chemical is safe. Okay, yes, okay. We learned already. Answer me here. Yes, okay. So dilute water is considered a safe liquid, okay, which we can straight away dispose into the sink. Okay, yes. How about the concentrated acid? Yes or no? Anybody can answer me for this? Is it acid can be straight away disposed into the sink? Nobody answer me. So actually, the concentrated acid and the radioactive substance is a dangerous chemical. Okay, yes. So Weirun already answered. Okay, both is no. Okay, correct. So so that means only one answer here. Distilled water is able to straight away dispose into the sink. Okay, thank you. Okay, for your response, Weirun. Okay, so the next will be the third question. Explain briefly the disposal of the carcasses. Okay. So the carcasses is considered as the waste category C. Okay, so what we have to do, as mentioned in our previous slide. Okay, so here the first, the carcasses need to be wet with the absorbent material. So here we can using the tissue paper, or you can also using the cloth. Okay, the second, carefully wet in a biohazard plastic and frozen. Okay, you have to put into the biohazard plastic bag and frozen it. Okay, freeze it. And the container or bag need to be stored in a cold temperature, such as in the refrigerator or freezer room until it is taken by selected constructor. Okay, so that means first step, you have to wet with the absorbent material. Second, you have to put into the biohazard plastic bag and then frozen. After that, you have to store in the cold room now. Okay, example here is refrigerator, okay, and freezer room until contractor is come and take away the waste. Okay, so this is a step when you need to handle the carcasses or the waste in the category C. Okay, so the next question here, what would be done if the thermometer break in the laboratory? Just now we have the 4 steps for the spill of the mercury. Okay, so the first step we have to do what? Inform your teacher, right? Okay, or lab assistant. Okay, and then the second, you have to make a spillage area. Okay, you have to mark the area which is restricted zone. Okay, for all the students. Okay, and the next you have to sprinkle the sulfur powder, which is yellow color powder. Okay, onto the spillage of the mercury. Okay, and then call the fire department if the mercury spill is serious. Okay, so this is the second step, third step, and fourth step. Okay, so we have total 4 steps to handling the mercury spill. Okay, so we have go to our last subtopic of today. So which is the fire extinguisher. So the fire extinguisher actually is a syllabus for Form 1. Okay, chapter 7. Okay, you have actually have the basic knowledge, okay, about the fire extinguisher. Okay, so today for this subtopic, you have some of the extended knowledge, okay, you need to know. Okay, so fire extinguisher is used to control and put out a fire at its early stage. Okay, and the next fire extinguisher are classified according to the medium they contain. So that means the fire extinguisher contents will be different. Okay, can be water, can be foam, can be carbon dioxide, can be dry powder. Okay, so these 4 types of the fire extinguisher actually you have already learned at your chapter 7. Okay, in your Form 1 science. Okay. Okay, so in your Form 1 science, you also learn about the fire triangle. Okay, so there are actually 3 components which may cause a fire. Okay, so what is the 3 components which is needed to have the combustion occur? So first, oxygen. Second, heat. Third will be fuse. So that means to avoid combustion, or you want to fight with the fire, okay, so one of the element must be eliminated. Example, if you eliminated for the oxygen, that means the fire will be put off. Okay. Okay, so fire extinguisher remove one or more of the component. Okay, so as mentioned just now, okay, you have to remove one of the component. Okay, if you want to put off the fire. Okay, so here we have 4 types of the fire extinguisher. Okay, you actually already learned in the Form 1 Science Chapter 7. So the first, the fire extinguisher which contains water. Okay, so the water will be labeled with red color. Okay, you can see at the figure here. Okay, so the water can use to put off the fire caused by solid, such as clothes, paper, and wood. Okay, so the water is actually cooling down the fire. Okay, so that means removing the component of heat. Okay, for the fire. So as mentioned just now, we need to have 3 component, 3 triangle. Okay, so that the combustion can be occur. So first will be oxygen, heat, and fuels. Okay, so at the type of the water, so that means removing the heat, so can stop the fire. Okay, the next will be foam. Okay, so the foam, you can see the label is with this color. Okay, orange, yellow color. Okay, so it can extinguish, okay, the fire caused by solid. Example, here we have wood, paper, and also the fire caused by liquid and gas. Okay, so example, here we have oil and natural gas. Okay, but here we have mentioned natural gas, not including the flammable gases, okay, not including the flammable gases. Okay, so foam is able to removing the heat, okay, by giving the cooling effect just like the water, and it also can separate the fire from the fuse. Okay, so that means the foam type of the fire extinguisher able to eliminate 2 components of the triangle, 3 triangle, which is the heat and the fuse. And the third will be the carbon dioxide. Okay, so the carbon dioxide is normally, you can see the label is with red color. Okay, it may able to, okay, put off the fire caused by electric current, gas, and steam. Okay, so it actually removing the oxygen supply to the fire. So that means it's actually cut off the oxygen. Okay, okay. The 4th type of the fire extinguisher here is the dry powder type. Okay, which is labeled with the blue color. Okay, so it can put off all type of fire, including the one involved for metal and no metal. Okay, so the dry powder is able to power the fire. Okay, and form layer between fuse and the oxygen. So that means this is a way how it actually put off the fire. Okay. Okay, so the next, okay, here we want to discuss about the type of fire and the fire extinguisher. Okay, so we have already know just now we have 4 types of fire extinguisher, which is water, foam, dry powder, and carbon dioxide. Okay, how about the type of fire? So the type of fire here we can classify to 6. With first one, class A, the fire is caused by the combustible material. This is actually the solid. This is a solid material. Example, here we have paper and wood. So that means the fire caused by the solid is category as A. And then the second, class B, okay, is the fire caused by the flammable liquid. Here we have the paint and petrol. And the type C, okay, class C will be the fire caused by the flammable gases. Here we have the butane and the methane. So that means this is actually the cooking gas now. Okay, and the D will be flammable metal. Here we have the lithium and potassium. And here give as the electrical. Actually, it's a class E lah. Okay, so the class E is the fire caused by the current. Okay, here we have the electrical equipment. Example, here we have the computer and generator. And the next will be the fire caused by deep fat fryer. So that means here including the cooking oil. Okay, so we consider the fire is class F. Okay, so here the first fire can be classified onto a few types based on the substance that burns. So as mentioned already, so the solid type will be class A, liquid type will be B, C will be flammable gases, D will be flammable metal, class E will be caused by current, and the class F is caused by the deep fat fryer. Example here we have the cooking oil. Okay, so this is 6 different types of fire. Okay, with different substance that burns. Okay, so the next will be so the following. Okay, in the figure here shows that the type of the fire extinguisher is able, which is suitable to extinguish different type of fire. So the first for water, as mentioned just now. Okay, so the water is able to put off or extinguish the fire caused by solid. Okay, so that means able to put off the class A type of fire, and others is not able to use. Okay, to put off by water type of fire extinguisher. Okay, so the next will be the foam type of fire extinguisher, as mentioned, able to put off the solid, liquid, and gases type of the fire. Okay, so here we have class A and B. Okay, as mentioned. Okay, so the gas here not including the flammable gases. Okay, so the next will be the all type for dry powder. Okay, so that means all type of the fire able to put off by using the dry powder. Okay, then the last one will be the carbon dioxide type of fire extinguisher. Okay, it may put off the fire caused by the electric current, gas, and steam. Okay, so here you can see it is able to put off the fire in class B, flammable liquid, class C, flammable gases, electric current, and the last one will be the deep fat fryer. Okay, so besides we have the 4 types of the fire extinguisher, which actually you have already learned in your Form 1 science. Here we have others method which is possible to use to put off the fire. Okay, so here we have the water. Okay, so as mentioned, water will giving the cooling effect. Okay, so so that means able to extinguish the fire except from the electricity, as mentioned here. Okay, actually the water type of the extinguisher, as mentioned just now, is only able to extinguish the solid. So for water here is also not suitable to put off the fire caused by liquid. Okay, why? Because the flammable liquid normally we have the petrol, we have the kerosene, they have the lower density. So that means they will be float on the surface of water and cause the fire spreading to wider area. Okay, so that means that the water is actually only able to extinguish the solid type of fire. Okay, the next will be sand. Okay, so pour on the fire to block the oxygen. Okay, so that means here the discussion here is regarding a triangle of the fire already. So that means we need to have heat, as mentioned, we need to have oxygen, and we need to have fuels to cause the combustion. So the water is actually eliminate the heat which given the cooling effect for the fire. Okay, and the sand, the idea here is actually want to let you know the sand is able to block the oxygen. Okay, to cut off the supply of oxygen, okay, to the fire. Okay, and the fire blanket is able to extinguish a small fire and fire on the breathing body. So you can see at the figure, actually the fire blanket is also cut off the oxygen to fire. Okay, and last here we have the ABC. So you can look at the label, ABC fire extinguisher. Okay, so this type of the fire extinguisher able to extinguish all type of fire, okay, including the fire caused by the metal and gases. Okay. Okay, so we have go to our next part. Okay, so I think this is almost the end. Okay, for the discussion in chapter 1. Okay, so here we have to know how to use the fire extinguisher. Okay, to know the step, okay, you have to remember this 4 alphabet PASS pass. Okay, so before we go to the discussion on how we use the fire extinguisher, you have to know the important part, okay, of the fire extinguisher. So here we have the pressure gauge, okay, and we have the safety pin. Okay, here is the safety pin. We have the handle, we have the hose, we have the nozzle, okay, and here we have the cylinder. Okay, okay, so this is basic, okay, part, okay, you have to know regarding the fire extinguisher. So the first step you have to know is P. So what you are doing here? So pull the pin in the handle. Okay, so handle is here, okay, and the safety pin is here. So that means the first step you have to do is you have to pull the pin in the handle, and then next aim the nozzle. So the nozzle is here. So you have to aim the nozzle at the base of the fire. And the next step is to squeeze. You can see, look at the figure. Squeeze the lever slowly. The lever is here. Okay, so squeeze the lever slowly. Is the step number 3. And then the last step is to sweep from side to side. So that means the nozzle, okay, you have to move left and right, or move to up and down. Okay, so this is a sweep from side to side. So you have to remember 4 important words, okay, for you to answering the way to use the fire extinguisher. So the P is pass, A is end, the first S will be squeeze, and the second S will be sweep. Okay. Okay, so we have already finished our last subtopic for chapter 1. Okay, so let us discuss the formative practice of 1.3. Okay, so step 4 type of the fire extinguisher. Okay, so what is the 4 type of fire extinguisher you have already learned in subtopic 1.3? Yes. Okay, so we learn first is here we need the fire extinguisher, not the others fire extinguisher. Form, yes, Sharon, good, well done. Form, water, yes, and then another 2, carbon dioxide, and one more. Yes, carbon dioxide. Okay, water, Xi Yu. Okay, so yes, so this is the 4 type. So water, form type, carbon dioxide, dry powder. Yes. Okay, good, Sharon. Okay. So here we have another type is ABC fire extinguisher, which is mentioned at the next slide. Okay. So here we have total 5 different type of the fire extinguisher. You need to choose any 4. Okay. And then the next step, okay, is I give the answer already. Actually, it's the question number 2. What is the function of fire blanket? Explain how it can save within or small fire. So the function, extinguish small or moderate fire. Okay, so here is the function. Able to extinguish a small or moderate fire that is difficult to extinguish by the water, because as we mentioned that the fire is the water is only able to cooling down the fire caused by the solid material. Okay, so the fire blanket able to block the oxygen, okay, so that the combustion or fire can be put off. Okay, okay, so here wrap the victim, and like picture here, wrap the victim to prevent contact with oxygen. So that means the fire blanket is actually able to block the oxygen straight contact to the body of the person. okay, and then cut off the fire. Okay, so the last question here, okay, arrange the correct sequence in using a fire extinguisher. Okay, so who can tell me, okay, so which is the first step? PQR. We can using the, okay, shouldn't give R, yes, okay. We would also give R, yes. R is the first step because as we know, the step is PSS. So the first step will be pull, okay, good, okay, well done. The second step, Q. Q, yes, M, okay, so this is M to the source of the fire, okay, correct. And the last will be P, okay, which is squeeze, okay. So that means the answer here we can using pass the 4 alphabet to remember PASS, right? The first will be pull, just like the figure R, okay, and then we need to M, just like the figure Q, and we squeeze just like the figure P, okay. So I think all of you is understand, right? Okay. Okay, so we have already finished, okay, our topic today, okay. So thank you, okay, for your cooperation and involvement in the discussion. Okay, so goodbye everybody.
拜老师。
Okay, goodbye.
白老师，
Okay, goodbye.
李老师。
Okay, goodbye. 好了，我变得看了，拜拜。
拜拜，谢谢老师。
OK，没问题。
谢谢老师。